the first year for me was really hard. But then after I lost myself and found myself, you couldn't tell me anything. You couldn't tell me anything about myself because I already knew. I knew where I was. I knew where I'm at, and I know where I'm going. Mm-hmm. And so every day I've just been like, okay, you clearly know. So why aren't you making the steps to do what you have to do? And that's not fair.
Good Bad Breakthrough. We in the building. We live from Drew and Dreya's house.
And
it's our house.
Are you pointing at me, Andrew? Or
I don't know. This new for all of us. And we got Keena in the building. Where's Keena at?
Right here. Hey y'all.
Yeah, we coming live, y'all. Good Bad Breakthrough. Keena, I want to start off a little bit differently, if it's okay with you. I know you watched the last podcast, and I destroyed where you can find us. Like, if you want to say fail, wrong, inaccurate, I practiced it, okay? If you could remind people where to find us, I would really appreciate that. Right. Just from my perspective.
Yes. Okay, so y'all can find us for the video of this, you can find it on YouTube. And then you can also find the videos if you listen exclusively on Spotify. You can listen and watch on Spotify. We are also on Apple Podcasts. We are on iHeartRadio. We are on Stitcher, Google Podcast, Overcast, Radio 21. We are on Amazon Music. And we just this week found ourselves on Audible. I put us on Audible.
Hey.
So if you have Audible on your phone, you can listen to our podcast for free on Audible. It's dope. I checked it out. So yeah, you can listen to us on all of those platforms, y'all. And then there's even more. Anchor Radio has the list of all of them. So if you go to Anchor, then the link to most of those platforms is on Anchor. The Amazon and Audible and iTunes, iHeartRadio, you have to go to those platforms in order to pull it up. Yeah. And then, of course, we are on Facebook and Instagram at Good Bad Breakthrough Podcast.
Thank you, Keena.
Yeah, girl, you're welcome. Hey, girl, how you doing today, Dreya, girl?
Good. We missed you last week.
Thank you, y'all. I had COVID, everybody. I was sick.
Oh.
I was in the trenches last week when it comes to being sick. Huh?
Have you back?
Thank you. I'm glad to be back. I couldn't even talk. My voice was gone, I think, on Thursday. So even if I had the energy to be here, y'all wouldn't have been able to hear me because like COVID took my energy, my strength, my comfort, my voice. Everything. Like I was weak and in pain. Okay. And I had to take a lot of drugs to get through the discomfort. So I'm on the other side. Makes you grateful for health.
Yes.
We glad you're on the other side, girl.
I'm on the other side of it, y'all.
We've been missing you.
I missed y'all too.
Yeah, it was interesting. Last podcast, we definitely missed you. We sent you our prayers and our thoughts and our feelings and manifestations and affirmations. Just like, you know what? Keena gonna get through. Keena gonna persevere. We're gonna be back in action next week. It was very interesting because even Andrea and I reflecting, she's like learning about herself, like, as we go into these like deep conversations. And she has Ace and shout out to all the moms out there that have been give a round of applause for the moms, all the moms, that I come across or even message me and say like how awesome it is that we have our 11-month-old son and Andrea nurses him. And like, it's unlike any social normality out there that Andrea can still be a wonderful mother while we're helping people unveil their authentic version of themselves. But Andrea was sharing with me that, she's realizing that she really, because of how much of a mother she is, she's always a mom. You're always a mom. I'm always a dad. Right. But like when you're in that moment with your child, like we're learning, we really like hyper focus. Look, we hyper focus on our children as we always say, it's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is what it is. But she's like, man, I'm hyper focusing on the needs of our child, and you hitting me with this like deep, you know what I'm saying? So she's like, I'm trying to process, I'm trying to journal, I'm trying to feel Asen. And I just felt like, you know, I wanted to share that with people out there that, you know, it's okay to like prioritize and understand that there are people that you're around or people you love where you love them so much. It's okay to be like, you know what, I'm with my spouse right now, or I'm with my children right now. This is not an okay time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people in general don't do that. You know, like when we go out to eat, how many families do you come across that, you know, want to impede or, you know, aren't giving their undivided attention to their family? Mm-hmm. Andrea and I were just talking about this. We were just at West Town Mall in Madison, Wisconsin, and we were shopping. And we went to one of our favorite places. We went to Express. Shout out to Christine. And I was telling Andrea, like, when we walk in a room, there are times where, like, there could be 100 people in the room, but I only see Andrea, I only see Alicia, I only see Anthony, I only see Asen. You know, and it's just like the sparks of energy, like the glow, like no one, and I don't want to say no one else matters, because that's not how we think. But in the realms of our family, like, we're a unit. We're just connected, you know? Mm-hmm. And we had a beautiful moment in the car today, you know? And Andrea was just sharing that, you know, as we elevate, you know, she's realizing that so many people in the world are lost. Like, so many people are living in this matrix, you know what I'm saying? So many people are surface level.
That's what it feels like, yeah.
And I was just sharing with her, I was like, you know, as you build, grow, and develop your character and you elevate, like, the more you know about yourself, the more you are aware of yourself, the more you learn about other people, and you may very well be more aware of another person than they are about themselves.
I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in tune with my own emotions and my own feelings, but now when people step into a room, I'm like, whoa. And now I'm trying to walk them through like what they're feeling, how they're feeling, and it's a lot for me to take in. I'm just trying to process my emotions on top of theirs, and it's been difficult for me.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to identify if it's me, if it's them, if it's somebody else. So yeah.
I'm so proud of you, babe. I'm so proud of you. Just the way you're elevating and growing, and you know, it's an amazing thing, but it's not easy, you know. And Keena, I'd love to hear your perspective. I don't have any questions or comments or statements directly for you, but just in relating, because from an energetic standpoint, you are a very vibrant, young African-American woman. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine, not to project thoughts, but even at the local leadership conference, you had made a statement where you had said, it was what was it? It was switching. What was the verbiage? Code switching. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that really intrigued me, you know, because it's like, remember how we talk about the variables matter when you're connecting with yourself or with others, but they don't matter when you're using for justifications and excuses. So I really resonated with that, because those variables of the predominantly white male figures that you were in those corporate rooms with, those variables that you had to connect with, you had to be a form of yourself, but you had to resonate that with the variable that meant something to them. Mm-hmm. So I really resonated with that. But I would just love to hear your perspective on, like, you know, when you feel their feelings, or when you like understand what they're thinking and you're breaking them down more than they can break themselves down, you know, like, where does that, how did you transition, you know, like to give some advice to Andrea? Because it's weighing heavy on her right now, you know. Okay. And I love her very much. And even today, she's like, babe, you okay? I'm like, I'm super straight. She's like, let me hold your hand. I'm like, what do you feel when you hold my hand? She's like, it feels neutral. I'm like, yeah, babe, because I'm neutral right now. I'm keeping it up. Like, I'm telling you, it ain't me. Like, I know you think it's me, but like, geez. Like, and we had even talked about, I was like, because I had a conversation with some people that used to trigger me, and she knows that. And I was like, well, babe, maybe you're just thinking about that, how it could affect me, but it no longer affects me. But and she was just still trying to figure it out. You know, I don't know what to tell her, because I don't know how I got to the point where it didn't weigh so heavy on me. Yeah. You know? Yeah. But maybe you, especially, again, young African-American woman to young African-American woman, maybe there can be a connection there that you can help her elevate, you know?
let me say this. I'm coming to you both, to all three of y'all, and to the listeners. I'm coming to y'all fresh out of a day of facilitating conflict resolution workshops. Okay. So literally, all I've been doing today has been dancing with middle school and elementary school girls, and then leading them through conflict resolution and communication workshops. Okay, with girls from third grade up until 9th or 10th grade. Okay. And so, at the Black Girl Magic Conference, put on by Black Girl Magic Educational Services. Shout out to Rosa Thompson for putting this on today. So it was an amazing and beautiful, just glorious day to bask in and be immersed in a Black girl brilliance. Okay, let me just get that out there. Okay. Mama is tired though. Okay. Imagine the energy. So I say that I'm saying this because we just coming out of all day. Like, I'm talking to the girls about, okay, here's why you shouldn't fight. Here's why you should use your brain to resolve issues with people. And here's how you can communicate. And let's talk about passive communication, and then let's talk about aggressive communication, and then let's talk about assertive communication, and let's talk about how to get there. Because for a lot of us, we are either we're highly charged or not enough charged in one of those particular areas, which is why assertive communication and assertiveness seems, when we first hear about it, it's like, what does that even mean? I'm unfamiliar with it. Most people resonate with either passive or aggressive. So I say that because your question or your observation, Andrew, was the resonation about the code switching and about showing up as who you are, and then also finding ways to connect with people, using the skills and the knowledge, that you gained for means of survival. And then Dreya was saying how it's been weighing on you, trying to be where you are, and then also learning how to communicate and meet people, and have conversation and share space with people who you're starting to feel like y'all are just not on the same frequency, the same wavelength, right? Is that right? Am I
I felt her vibrate.
Okay.
You keep going, girl. I'm gonna shut up.
So and then one more thing, and then Andrew was like, people who might trigger you. And the one thing I want to say, that's what made me think about this, was because before we say any of those things, one of the things that I was teaching the girls today, we were talking about different forms of violent communication, right? How people communicate with us, how people can be violent without laying a hand on us, right? How they can communicate with us in a violent way. And they came up with so many amazing, like, the girls are brilliant. And so one of the main things that we talked about in all the workshops was control, right? Wanting to have control over somebody else. And I was like, you don't have control over nobody else's mouth. And also nobody has control over you unless you give away that agency, unless you give away your power to somebody else in that way. But really, can't nobody make you mad. Can't nobody make you triggered. And so then from there, we talk about observing our feelings and sensations. That's how we know what our feelings are, because we observe the sensations in our body. Okay. So it's like, if I say I am, name an emotion, I feel maybe frustrated, right? Like, I feel frustrated. Let's just say that. So then I'm like, well, how do you know you feel frustrated? What happens in your body that gives you the signals and the cues that you're frustrated? Because before we talk about how your face is, your lips are moving up or down, right? What are the sensations that gives you the ability to assign frustration to that, right? Mm-hmm. Is it like, is there something that happens in your chest or your stomach? I don't know. Dreya, I'm sure you know what you feel first in your body when you feel that. What is it? Name it.
It feels like a rock in my chest, and it doesn't go away until I've reached a resolution of some sort. It stays there all day.
Okay. Yeah. And for the most part, everybody knows, and it's different for everybody, but
Mhm.
everybody knows where it is, where they feel it in the body. And then that's how you can identify and assign a name to the emotion. Because everybody might say, I feel sad, but then to them, that means something different and it lands differently in them, right?
Mhm.
That's okay, but it's just a matter of knowing that, right? So I say that because if you start to notice that you consistently experience this particular sensation when you're, around somebody, it's not for you to necessarily change anything about them because they probably have different priorities,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
But it's just the observation that, like, I keep having this particular sensation every time that I'm in space with this person, and it's not my job to fix them. I just recorded a podcast yesterday and the title was You Can't Fix Me. Okay.
Oh, we need to watch that.
I just recorded it yesterday. I don't know when I'm going to upload it, but that's the title of the episode. You Can't Fix Me. And so, basically it just goes to say, like, it's not even, you don't have to do anything besides we're going to go back to episode number 3 and 4, acceptance.
I
Yeah.
know, Andrew, that was his first. I think he said that before we went to the mall today. It was like, babe, like, it is. I think you feel responsible for people and their feelings and their behaviors and their choices, and you're not responsible for that. And I think that part of me knows that I'm not, but then there's a little part of me that's like, yes, I mean, they cross paths with me, they talk to me, they interact with me all day. I'm giving them feedback, I'm giving them advice on certain things, and so I feel obligated to be able to help them, process through whatever it is they're going through. Or so yeah.
And I will venture even further to ask you to reflect, to just the question, an observation. Is your feeling that feeling of obligation, is it stemming from control?
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
When we don't have control, we feel like, what is it? I don't know that I get angry. I just worry a lot more. I worry about not gaining that control back and not being able to plan out my A through Z's. And so when we don't know, we're scared of the unknown. And, there's a lot of stuff that transpires from not being in control.
And so here's the thing. Oh, okay. Let me take a moment and be thankful to the spirit, right? Let me be thankful because I'm prepared for this.
I know. Can we be thankful? Can we do what you did at the leadership conference real quick?
The breath?
Yeah,
let's
can we do that?
Ground? Okay,
Yeah,
let's take a breath real quick because I'm excited. Inhale. Close your eyes. Take a moment. Let's close your eyes. Close your eyes. And then let's inhale through the nose. And then slowly let it out. And when you're ready, not a second sooner, whenever you're ready, then go ahead and open your eyes. Make eye contact with somebody.
Hey, I was going for my $1 million lady, you know what I'm saying?
And when you make eye contact with somebody, see them for who they are, not for who you want them to be. See them. See them. And sometimes that can be emotional, right? Seeing somebody for who they are, that can make you emotional. It can also make you emotional giving somebody permission to see you, right? All right. So I had a moment where I just felt so thankful because of alignment, because I'd be like, I'd be like, I just be asking for, let me have whatever I need in me to be, to show up how I'm supposed to show up. So let me say this for this. And this is literally what I journaled about and what I spent an hour podcasting about yesterday. When we seek, just try this perspective out with me. When we seek to have control, it's because our own feelings of our own feelings are uncomfortable. We feel uncomfortable, and we want to get rid of the discomfort by making the other people operate in a way that gets us out of our comfort, right? And so, and I was talking about this yesterday about like when it comes to like our, parenting and children. So it's like if somebody else, if their presence or there's something that's in them, wherever they are in their process, if I feel uncomfortable because of wherever they are, number one, I'm not necessarily accepting them or meeting them where they are. Number two, if I want them to hurry up and be the way that I want them to be, I'm being selfish, not from a malicious way, I'm being selfish because I want them to hurry up and be the way I want them to be. But if I just rush them for the sake of my comfort, I am like interrupting their process.
So one of the girls that has been coming to me with a lot of just relationship issues, I don't want to say it triggered me, but like I feel like I've been wanting her to speed up her process because I've gone through that. I had to let go of Andrew for, 3-4 years before we circle back around and tried it again. But she's there where she's like, I know my worth. I know that I deserve better. I know that I need somebody that loves me and that can meet me here, but they're not giving me that. And I'm like, so what's the holdup? What's taking me so long? And so when you said that, I was like, that's so me. Like every morning I have a conversation with her, and the more she shares with me, the more heartbroken I become, because I'm like, the first year for me was really hard. But then after I lost myself and found myself, you couldn't tell me anything. You couldn't tell me anything about myself because I already knew. I knew where I was. I knew where I'm at, and I know where I'm going. And so every day I've just been like, okay, you clearly know. So why aren't you making the steps to do what you have to do? And that's not fair. It's not fair because she said, Dreya, it's going to take time. And it may take a week, it may take a month, it may take a year, but I need time. I appreciate the conversations we have every day, and I appreciate your advice, and I hope to someday be there where you are, or but today isn't it. And so I thank you for that, because that's exactly what I've been doing, just trying to rush her process. But
can I share a resignation? So with y'all, I'm soaking it all in. I'm a sponge right now, and I really resonate. And you two know this, and Jason too. Shout out to At Your Core Communications. You guys know, like, I almost always see more in people than they see in themselves. Always, because I believe it. I just believe in them. I pour them from my overflowing cup. And when you had made the comment about it is absolutely very selfish for me to project where I think they should be or where I think they can be, and they haven't even thought that yet. So I'm in this elevated stage now where I'm working with leaders, and I'm learning how to move at their pace. I'm learning how to love them for who they are. I'm learning how to love them for who they want to be. And a lot of my conversations now have been around, framing, hey, what do you like to do? What do you like to be? What are your passions? What are your hobbies? What are your interests? Because if we can focus on those things that come from the heart, it's pure, no pun intended with the heart and the pure, but it comes from a pure place. We're removing, character development from it. We're removing businesses from it. We're removing money from it. And again, Keena, when you shared at the leadership conference, it's like, how are you connecting with your team on different avenues other than just finances? Like, finances are important. Like, that pays our bills. That provides value and impact in this society we live in. But like, how are you building them up and connecting with them, but for what they want, not what you want, because it's great that we see so much in people, but it's unfair for me to say, you're choosing to want to be this character and you want to be this character for 10 years. It is so selfish and so unfair of me to say, you know what? No, you can be a different character and you can actually be here, but you cool being here. So I need to learn, and we need to learn how to love you when you hear,
And meet you where you
and love you for where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said that at the conference too.
Mm-hmm.
Love you for where you're at, and when you're ready, I got all the tools and resources for you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here for you. Like, we can run together, but I'm gonna run at your pace. You know what I'm saying? And I think in my opinion, I rarely give my opinion. Y'all know that. But in my opinion, in my growth in this journey, in this aura, that's been one of the most difficult things for me to accept, is to love people just where they want to be, regardless of where I think that's at, but just to love them right there. So I'm learning how to do that. And in doing that, like, you know, you feel like you master connection and then you do something differently. And then you feel like you master it again. And then you do something differently. And then we master it again. Just like you said, in these different lifetimes that we're in these different life cycles that we're in, it's just a beautiful thing. Every time I come back from a conference, I'm a different type of father. I'm a different type of fiance. I'm a different type of leader. You know, it's interesting. But yeah, I just resonate with all of what y'all say. I love y'all so much. I'm full of grace. You know, y'all really, you know what? Y'all help me live a really blissful life.
Oh.
You know, and I think that sometimes, you know, and Andrea and I were sharing this today, like, you know, we're helping unveil authentic versions of people's selves. We're sharing stories. We're talking about character development. You know, sometimes, you know, we don't really know where we're going with the podcast, but like at the end of the day, when I speak to y'all or we have these organic conversations, these are moments I cherish. You know, like I take so much away from listening to y'all, you know, and just being engaged. And I'm just grateful. I want to let y'all know that I'm so happy that I'm part of y'all journeys, you know.
I'm happy too. And I'm thankful, you know. And you know, a lot of what you said, like about the journey and about meeting people where they are, resonating with where they are, where maybe sometimes where they are and where they want to be, and where you want them are three different things. You know what I mean? And so then it's like, how do I find which one to focus on, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, you know,
how do you align? Yeah.
And that's where the acceptance comes through, and also like the letting go of, you know, the desire to control. I was reading I was reading a few pages of the 7 spiritual laws to success and the 4 agreements yesterday. And so, you know, the law of least effort is like, and that's in alignment with some of the other mindful practices, is just like do less and just be more, right? Like do less, be more, let go, relinquish, surrender the need for control, and then you'll be able to manage your economy of effort, right? Which is like, you know, like some of the examples that he gave, Deepak Chopra, he's just like, the tree, the sun doesn't want to shine, it just shines. The tree doesn't try to, you know, grow, it just grows. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's just like, it's just being, and just by being, it's so magnificent, right? Like when you was talking about you was in Mexico and you was like, trees there, you know, you got your lion's mane tea. You know what I mean? Look at how beautiful things are when they just get to be. You know what I mean? And so, you know, we can do all of this, and this is a part of socialization. Like, let me do all of this doing, where we're human beings, not human doings. And so the hard part for us Americans specifically, we're socialized to do all of this grinding and hustling and goal setting and chasing, you know, and it's like, what if we just, you know, was just being? And of course we can't just be all the time, because we live in this society, this capitalistic society, where we have to do some of that stuff. But we also can give ourselves permission to, you know, be in tune with who we are, where we are in our process, whatever our journey is, without trying to necessarily change or force anything. That acceptance piece. And everybody has different priorities, you know. Somebody says to me today, Let's look at getting you some meal prep stuff together. Let's get you meal prepping. I'm like, like that's a great idea, but it's just not my priority. I think it's a great idea to do the meal prep, but it's not my priority. That's your priority. So if you want me to meal prep, you can prepare my meals and do all that for me. You know what I mean? Like if that's your priority. But don't give me extra stuff to focus on. I'm already focusing on my journey. Figure out what I'm focusing on if you want to help in that way.
Oh my gosh, I was here with you and I resonated and I drifted, and I think the reason why I drifted is because I don't think coming back from Atlanta and before the conference was I wouldn't say it was traumatic for me, but there were definitely moments that I had where, I mean, it must have been 2 or 3 moments, from the time I got back from Atlanta, like the day I got back that Sunday. Oh, that was a Sunday night. Okay, I had a moment with a family member that came to the house. Andre and I didn't know this person was coming, and they wanted to have a conversation about Anthony, and it was a sore spot for me. So they framed the conversation as, let me tell you what you should have done or what you should do. And us being us, Keena, you, me, and Andrea, like, you telling me you trying to put me in a box, so I just told his family member, I was just like, I don't have the space for that. Like, I love you, ain't nothing to do with you, but I don't have the space to have this conversation right now. And then they continued to try to, and then again, I had no, you're not listening. Like, I don't want to talk about this. You know what I mean? But then I had a couple more moments, even before the leadership conference. And I had like 95 text messages in like a day. Like, it was crazy. And everybody's like, I know you're busy getting ready, but can I get 10 if it's, I know you're doing this, but can we chop it up? I know you're doing this, but this is really important. And I was telling Andrea, I was like, man, like, this is breaking my heart. Like, I had to tell one of my nieces like, hey, Unc, like, can I get 10 to 15 minutes of your time today? And I broke my heart, and it crushed me to be like, no, like, I love you, but I will talk to you tomorrow, And I was sharing this with Andrea, and I don't know why I resonate this. I want to share this with you when you shared everything, but I was sharing this with Andrea, and she's like, you know what? Like, the universe, God, like, is preparing you to, like, understand that you feel pressure now coming back from a men's conference, going into a leadership conference. There's going to be so many different pressures that you have to manage once you start elevating, doing, different types of conferences. And I was like, I support that statement. I was like, just practice. So I reflected on the day. I was like, you know what? The day before a conference, I'm going to shut my phone off. I'm going to put a voicemail on there. Hey, if it's related to this business, call this person. This business, call this person. If you my $100 million people and you know me personally, then you can call Andrea. You know her number if you know me personally. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, babe, you're going to start filtering out information for me. And even when I went to the Madison Gibbs Foundation charitable dinner after the conference that night, every email I gave them was the family email. I'm telling babe, I'm like, yo, you going to filter this out for me. Like, I'm gonna get the information to them. They're going to go through you. Then you can let me know what's important and not. Because I feel, just like Andrea said, like, there's this selfish side of me that wants to control, that wants to impact so many people, but I can only impact people when they want me to impact them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm learning how to let that go and not be so responsible, when people reach out, when people do this. And generally speaking, like, I'm okay at blocking out my time and focusing on the things that are important, but I still struggle with it. It's still practice to me. I still love people so much that I'm like, ooh, I gotta be there. I gotta be there. But it was interesting, like, leading up to the event, the things that I've gone through. And I can't wait to talk to you off the pod. You know what I'm saying?
I know we gotta, like, debrief.
I've been learning, like, how to, like, frame things, and generally speaking, I'll talk. We share stories. And then people will be like, "Were you talking about me? Were you talking about me?" Like, man, chill out. Like, I ain't gonna tell anybody y'all name until y'all ready to be in the book and we got contracts together. But yeah, I want to talk to you at the pod just about all the events that happened. It was just very interesting. I came back and I want to share this resonation with you before we transition or before we get off. But just as a man and being a father, I really realized something about myself and Anthony. Anthony and I don't know if I told you this or not, but Anthony resonates with this side of Drew, the ego Drew, the proud Drew. You know what I'm saying? The assert himself as a man Drew. He doesn't resonate with empathetic growth and development, acceptance, boundary. You know what I mean? So it's interesting because I was sharing this with my niece and she was like, "Oh, do you feel like you changed who you are?" And I was like, "Absolutely not. Like I'm still the organic version of myself, but the way I deliver the message is the way he is willing to receive it. It's still the same heart. It's still the same value and belief. It's just delivered in a way that where he's at for space, where he wants to be, he's willing to receive. And I share that with you because I think it's meaningful to everything we've been talking about. But even connecting with him and taking him for car rides and going to play basketball at the Princeton Club and picking him up from school. He even, and you know this about Anthony, he ran an errand with me today. You know what I'm saying? That boy don't like to go 5 minutes away from home. He went to the west side with me. Went to the west side, waited for me to do the errand for like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And it's just been really cool just to, reconnect with him on a deep level and just hear him share different stories and, be vulnerable and the way he likes to be vulnerable. And, he loves us all so much and we love him so much. And he's so good with his brother. And it's just interesting because I have to be conscious about that, because then I'll go from being with him to, hey, what up, bro? Like, I'm like, what's up, G? Like, hey, what's up, gang? What up, blood? Like, I'm like, I forgot. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, what's up? It's Drew. Like, what's up, D Money? But it's just really cool. So, and again, that just goes back to that code switching. You know what I mean? It's like loving somebody so much that you're willing to give them what they need, and you're still going to be who you are.
Yeah. Code switching. Like I get it. Like I feel like the necessity for it comes from a place of, the necessity for code switching, come from a place of like survival and especially racism, you know what I mean? And then, the fact that we also do that like with our children, as well and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Out of love, surviving that connection, I said out of love, like when I think about survival, like the code switching in professional environments, I get it. But the code switching as family members, it's like to keep us connected. You know what I mean? So you don't drift too far and you stay within the realm of the reality.
Yeah. Yeah. My kids, especially Kayshawn, I know that I don't really do it so much. Like most of the time people really get like Keena 100 proof. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But through the years, but Kayshawn, definitely my older son, he witnessed a lot. So like I remember like one of the earlier times when he came to work with me, and he was like, "Mom, why are you talking like that?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? Why am I talking like that?" You know what I mean? And he was like that. And so then when it's so funny. I should call him over here. He's in his room playing the game, but
yeah,
I should be like, Kayshawn, come and do my how I do it when I'm at work. When I was at work. Y'all don't need to hear that.
I already know.
But he used to have me rolling when he would do it, so it's funny. But Caleb, it's also funny that our children have seen different versions of us because of the, of course, Kayshawn, like we grew up raising our older kids. We was kids when we was raising them. They've seen so many different versions of us. And then our little people, our younger ones, they have like the more refined versions of us.
Yeah.
Like the edges then been smoothed out a little bit. You know what I mean? So Caleb don't know half of the Keena that Kayshawn knows.
It's so interesting that you said that because very literally, and again, how the universe aligns, we were literally in the car, Andrea, Ace, and Alicia and I, and we had came back from the mall, and somehow, some way, we got to talking about like connecting with people and challenging people in general. And I had made a statement to Andrea and Alicia, and I was like, like in a very loving way, I'm so ready to go at war with y'all when you challenge me or when I challenge you, because y'all know so many different auras of me. You know, so many different versions of me that got me to where I am now, that when you say something, like it's very meaningful. You know what I mean? Like I get it because you see different versions of me in the different versions of who I was.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was this version of me in different versions of me.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to have so much, I don't want to use the word leverage. I use the word weight. Like it's almost like you got clout with your perspective with me because you've been here for 18 years. You've been here for 22 years. You know what I mean? You sleep in the same crib we pay for. You know, we go to the same. We got the same business. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm ready to listen to you. Like I'm listening. And it's funny because Andrea be like, "Babe, you're not listening." And I had to check myself. I've been working on this. I'm like, "No, babe, like I'm listening to listen. I'm not listening to respond. I'm literally clearing my air. I'm focused. I'm listening to listen." But yeah, it's just interesting how with what you said is like our oldest kids, they seen it all. They seen different versions of us.
Yeah.
You know, they seen the good, the bad, the breakthrough. Literally.
Yeah.
The good, bad breakthrough. What up? What up?
Yes.
What up?
Episode 19.
Gee, let me tell you this. We so dope. The pod is so dope. We give so much information. When people listen to the pod, they're like, "Oh, I'm on episode 8. Oh, I'm on episode 4. Oh, I'm on episode 10." It's like every pod we drop, I'm like, "Oh, my favorite 7th. Oh, my favorites. Oh, my favorites 9th." Like every time we drop a new episode, that becomes my new favorite.
Yeah. That's what I've been saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, go to like 15. Like go to like 13, you know?
Yeah. You know, we grow. We're growing. Like we are in this, like we are also like in the simulation.
Yeah.
Growing as well. Like we are also on the game of life, right? And we are also like moving forward in the little ladders or whatever, the Candyland. We are also in the game too. You know what I mean? Like with y'all who are listening. So we're also growing every week as we're doing the show. We're growing as well.
Yeah.
So
where can you find us, Keena?
So if you're watching the video version of this, then all of those platforms just streamed across the bottom. I hope you caught them. But if you're listening, you can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Audible. Check us out on Audible. Is new to the list. I updated all of the graphics to reflect that because I was so excited that I found out that we could be on Audible. And we're also on YouTube for the video version and Spotify. I know I said Spotify, but the video is on both. Okay. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You know, give us some feedback. Send us, give us 5 stars on whatever platform that you listen on. It helps other people to find our show. People are finding our show. So help more people to find our show. It's so dope. Okay. So that's it, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Okay.
I want to say one thing before we go, and Jason can cut it or keep it. I love the titles you be putting on the shows, dude. Andrea says, I haven't texted you yet or called you on that, but every time I see the title, I'll be like, ooh, I really resonate with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the way you be like, let me hit this one liner real quick. Let me hit 3 words in here. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all.